Hello and welcome. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Andrew, and we're brothers, and this is the Daniel and Andrew Show.
Where we give our opinions about movies and TV and movies about multiples that we've been watching lately. So, Andrew, how you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Did you do anything fun this week?
I've been sick most of it, so not really. And then I did watch something. I watched Wolves on Apple TV.
Getcha.
It was pretty good. Easily wasn't made in my top 10.
Well,
Yeah.
My week was pretty uneventful, because I fell down some stairs and hurt my foot, so I couldn't work
Oh.
or do much. Like a week ago, is when I fell. I mean, I didn't like. I guess I'd make it sound more. I fell down like two stairs, like the end of the stairs. Was it like I didn't like fall
It
down a
wasn't
flight of
wasn't
stairs?
like John Wick falling down the stairs.
No. It was like I tripped because I wasn't paying attention, and then I just fell on my ankle, and I think it's a sprain. I don't know. I'm. It's not completely better, but it's definitely improved since then. So, but yeah, that really sucked. So yeah, I couldn't really work or anything. Um, so that was disappointing. Um, so yeah, so you liked Wolves. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's the one with it's called Wolves.
Gosh, who cares? Yeah, whatever it's called.
Wolves. And with the Clooney and Brad Pitt there,
Mm-hmm.
what would you give the rating for that?
Like a 7 or 8. I'll definitely watch another one. They probably won't, but
They were going to. I had a story about. We talked about that. The apparently Apple are like not nice. So
oh,
uh, the director's like, yeah, they said that we were making another one without telling me that we're making another
oh
one. So I,
right. Mm-hmm.
so I pulled out of it, and he wrote and directed it. It's the guy, Spider-Man guy who did the recent Spider-Man movies. Oh, what's his name? I can't remember. Um, yeah, John Watts. His name's John Watts. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I thought the movie was pretty good. I think it was like a 7 as well. And yeah, I would have watched another one, and clearly we're open to making another one, but oh well. Um, we'll just have to wait for when they make that Oceans movie, which they said they are making. So we'll see what happens. Um, the other movie that I saw this week was Queen of the Ring, which is a movie about ladies wrestling in like the 40s and 50s. It's about Mildred Burke, who is the first women's champion, uh, or I guess in like a major, like in the NWA, which was the National Wrestling Alliance. They talk a lot about wrestling, and like the like kind of carny sideshow freak side that pro wrestling started with, people wrestling like animals and stuff. Um, but yeah, I thought the movie was pretty good. Um, I think it was a little stretched out, and I know quite a bit about wrestling and some of the characters, and I think there's other people. I mean, they picked her because she was the first champion and everything, but I think there was more interesting people like like a May Young that they could have done the movie about, because Mae Young wrestled until she was like 80 years old. Like she was like an old woman, like wrestling. I think actually her story probably would have been more interesting, but um, Walton Goggins plays a supporting role in the movie, and so does the guy who plays Kreese on Cobra Kai. So, and I just finished Cobra Kai, so it was kind of funny seeing him. And it's a period piece and everything, so he's wearing like the suits and stuff. And then, but he still smokes a cigar in, in the movie.
Very typecast. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like real lady wrestlers in the movie. So it's kind of I like those were all the basically like the main matches that she has in the movie. The main actress lady is with the like real lady wrestlers. Um, uh, the lead she was in Arrow. She's the blonde lady that helps him in Arrow. Felicity, I think, is her name in the show. I don't remember if you watched that show or not. I
I
did.
did
I
watch
watched like a
some of
couple
it.
episodes.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's basically like his like tech person on the show. So yeah, yeah. I think I give that movie like a 6.5. I think because there was definitely some detractors, and the story was kind of. I felt like it just kind of went on, and I feel like I got the gist. All right, so you ready to get into some news then?
I am. I am.
All right. Well, this is a very different week here. Andrew has an actual bit of news here, so hit me with it.
Yes. Demon Slayer is coming out this year. The last, well, not the last movie, but the first of the trilogy that they are doing. And
To
it'll
wrap it up.
wrap up the series. I know you haven't watched up to this point, so I won't spoil nothing, but it's pretty hype, pretty excited. I definitely can't wait. So
I guess I'll have to catch up before September.
yeah,
Like 2 seasons.
yeah, 2 seasons. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good show, I will say. I do like the show, and just eh. um I mean, there's shows that I like that I haven't watched the most recent season either that aren't anime. So, um, yeah, we'll see um, how that goes in September. Speaking of anime, there's an anime that came out a long time ago. Obviously, it's based on the, the manga, but Claymore show we watched many years ago, um, getting a live action version of Claymore.
Weird. They never even finished the show.
Yeah.
It got canceled.
I mean, I think that's correct. Well, I mean, I'm assuming there will be.
This is a Netflix
I'm
thing.
assuming. No, it is not. Yeah. So this is going to be a CBS show, CBS produced show, CBS Studios. The producer of Hawaii Five O. Yeah, it's. I mean, there's manga, right? So that I'm assuming that has a conclusion. Um. So yeah. Uh. It was published in Shonen Jump from 2001 to 2007. Um. But yeah, live action TV series.
Well, I mean, I think it could work. It's not. I mean, you have to make like demons, but I mean, the cast itself is just like a bunch of ladies, right? And they got to be like super strong and fast. So it's definitely like can be done live action. There's definitely been things like it. I don't know. I still feel like they kind of need like a pretty serious budget But
I mean, it from what I understand. I mean, it says CBS Studios is making it. I don't know if that means it'll be a Paramount Plus show or that would be. I would be shocked if it was on CBS, like major,
yeah, yeah,
you know, network. But I would assume. I mean, CBS Studios. That could be on anything. It could be on Paramount. They could put it on one of their. I mean, there's multiple channels, right? That could be on the CW. I don't know. But yeah. Um, so that's kind of interesting. It's a show that I have honestly like not thought about in a long time. But I think it was a pretty good anime. So definitely like monster fantasy heavy, but it's dark. I mean, um, I don't know if they could do it gritty like a Last of Us or something.
yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. That was something that definitely caught my attention because that's not something I think they'd ever make. I feel like they make a lot of live action like animes, translate them in Japan, but like to live action, but I've never seen any of them or anything. And they're usually
yeah,
like the simple ones, right?
yeah. They're not. They're usually not worth your time in watching. So
Yeah. Um yeah, so we'll see how that works. Um so we have lots of couple show things here. Ted Lasso season 4 is confirmed with Jason Sudeikis. He said it himself. He confirmed it that Ted will be back and he will be coaching a women's team this time.
oh, that sounds fun.
I was not an avid watcher of the show. I've watched a couple episodes. But I know that people like it a lot. And the third season, people were kind of bummed that they ended it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. I like it was good. The show's good, but yeah, the ending was like okay, but
yeah.
it seemed like they were just going to continue the show without Ted Lasso. To not, hopefully, that doesn't spoil anything. But um, yeah,
Well, it looks like the answer to that is no.
yeah,
They're not going to do
yeah.
that. I think Jason Sudeikis was not wanting to do it, and I guess they're working on the script, or
I mean,
they have a script.
you
I don't
know,
know.
probably drop some bags on his desk. You know, it's probably the only way you get him to do it, right?
He, well, the thing is that like he's like the producer and writer and star of the show.
Mm.
So, I mean, did he like put bags on his like he went to the bank
Well, it's
himself and
got to
then put
be.
his own bag?
It's an Apple TV thing, right? So that'd
Yes,
be Apple, right?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, studio or whatever. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I know that people will be
Yeah,
excited
I'll
about it.
definitely watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess maybe I'll try it again. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um. All right. So, um, they announced a while ago that they were doing a Monopoly movie. So basically, because things have been doing well, like a Barbie and stuff like that, that they're gonna try to do things based on board games and IP, just like different IP toys and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Monopoly movie. They found their writers, and the writers of the Monopoly movie is the only reason I'm interested. It's the writers of Game Night and Dungeons and Dragons. Those are the guys who are
Those were
gonna.
two good movies.
Yeah. I like those guys. I like the movies that they've made. Um, so we'll see. I'm double check to see if they're gonna direct it as well. John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein are their names. Let's see. Yeah, Monopoly. Boop a doop doo. Directing. Yeah, so let's see. Doesn't say they're directing, but they are writing it. So they directed the Vacation reboot in 2015, Game Night and Dungeons and Dragons. They wrote Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, Horrible Bosses, Vacation, Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. So, not all bangers or anything,
Yeah.
but I think they're pretty. I think more recently they've been hitting pretty good, doing pretty, making good stuff. And I mean, I guess I probably would have saw a Monopoly movie, but those guys doing it probably gets me more interested than I was before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have much else other than those guys are writing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I'd have to see a trailer or something on that one to really speculate on if it'll actually be good or not.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's true. Okay. We got more here. Oh, we could talk about that. Speaking of Spider-Man, so Sadie Sink, who was on what's the one with the kids in the 80s? Stranger Things. She got fame from that. She has joined the cast of the next Spider-Man film, the one with Tom Holland. We do not know who she's playing, but people think she's either going to be Mary Jane Watson, because she's a redhead, so that's why they think that, or she was already rumored earlier to be Jean Grey. So they think maybe
Might be a crossover thing.
Have some introduce some X-Men in there, because they've already said that after this current saga is done here, which will be after the two Avengers movies, they're gonna full bore into X-Men. So yeah, so she's joined Spider-Man 4. We don't know who she's going to be, but people thought she was going to be Jean Grey in the X-Men. Like that was a rumor. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition, but if not, maybe they thought she was going to be X-Men, but maybe she's just like a Spider-Man character, and that was what she was meeting with Marvel about. But also, this is all rumor, so she could be nobody.
Yeah.
No, none of those choices could just be some girl. Yeah. Now, here's the rumored cast for the X-Men, because other people have been, their names have been tossed around here. Harris Dickinson, who was in The King's Man. He just was in Baby Girl. He's in something else. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Did you watch The King's Man?
I get them all confused at this point now.
This is the one that the prequel one.
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, he's the son in that. see if he's in anything else.
I think I
Henry
did
Stickmin.
see some of it. He like wants to go to war or something, and then he doesn't want him to go to war.
He's the son.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah,
So
I'm
he's the one
just
that goes to war.
yeah. Okay, yeah. I don't really remember, but it's just some blonde kid. Is from what I remember.
Yeah, just a handsome
Yeah.
guy. He is the rumored for Cyclops. Um, and then she's Jean, a rumor for Jean Grey, and then we've already gotten that rumor that Margaret Qualley will be Rogue. Um, and then Jesse Plemons is Beast. Um, and then the other rumor was we already heard the rumor that or we've already been told that Denzel Washington is going to be in the next Black Panther, and the rumor is that he might be Magneto.
Oh wow. Hmm.
Which is interesting. um, I mean, he's pretty old, but I mean, Ian McKellen was old when they made X-Men, but I mean, I
Yeah.
think he's in his 70s.
I don't know. I feel like he just
Denzel.
phones it in now. He's just like a big enough name that he'll just put out whatever slop and people will love it. So
Yeah. Um, yeah. Ian McKellen was like 60 years old when X-Men came out.
yeah.
Denzel's like 10
I
years
mean, yeah,
plus
they
older than that.
Magneto doesn't have to like do action scenes or anything, right? He just kind of stands there and moves things. So
Yeah. Yeah, but I just don't. That rumor seems to be. I think that's
you don't think
wrong.
it'll be him?
No, because I just don't think he would sign up for many films. I mean, because that would be if the X
True,
Men's coming up
true.
next,
Yeah.
that would be a
Yeah,
long
he'd have to
time
sign up for a
of him
while.
playing that.
Yeah.
And he also said, I pretty much want to be done soon." So he literally said that.
Yeah.
That was the same interview where he's like, "Yeah, Ryan Coogler's put me in
Yeah.
Black Panther."
Honestly, I don't.
So
Maybe if it was like 20 years ago, I think he'd be a good
yeah,
Magneto, but no, just make your three more equalizers that are very mid and then call it a day.
yeah. Well, they're definitely going for a younger cast for um, X Men based on this rumored cast. Um, and yeah, I wanted Jesse Plemons as the Thing. I didn't get that, but we got maybe. I think Beast would be he'd be a good Beast, so I like him.
Who is that?
Jesse Plemons. Speaking of Game Night, he's in Game Night. He's the cop,
Okay, can you give me
the
something else?
neighbor.
I don't.
You don't remember the weird neighbor in
No,
Game
I
Night where he had
don't.
a dog and they drip
I
blood on
barely
his
even remember
dog?
that movie. I remember it being funny, but that's about
Blonde,
it.
blonde guy. Um, or he's like redhead. He's a redhead. Let's see, Jesse.
Is this the guy that was in like Breaking Bad? Okay.
Yes, he was in Breaking Bad. You remember
Okay,
that?
yeah. Because I kind of remembered
Uh,
the name. Okay, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, he's a good actor.
oh, he's in Killers of the Flower Moon. I know you watched that movie.
Yeah.
He was the FBI
Yes,
guy.
I do remember that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting cast. I don't really like. I watched a little bit of Sadie Sink. I don't think she's strong enough to be Jean Grey because Jean Grey is like pretty pivotal in the X-Men. I mean, pretty much like the main couple in the X-Men is Cyclops and Jean Grey. They kind of sidelined them for Wolverine because Wolverine was everything in the Fox X-Men movies, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, in the comics, they're like pretty important and have a lot of major storylines. So I'd want my Cyclops and Jean Grey to be good. So I don't mind the guy who's Cyclops, but I think she's a little too small and kind of, I don't know, just doesn't exude power
Yeah.
to me.
Well, you got to give people a shot, right? Maybe that'll surprise you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. So it looks like they're probably working on casting people. They got a lot of casting to do for the X-Men. So, um, yeah. I think there was a Kitty Pryde as well. Which Kitty Pryde is the one that goes through walls and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Casting. Yeah. Let's see who this is. Julia Butters. Don't know. Don't know who that is. So she's in a bunch of stuff, but I never seen her before. At least the picture of her. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think this is like pretty much these rumored casts are all like people that they've talked to or looked at or something. I don't think none of these are definitely not set in stone. Other than we know that Sadie Sink will be something somewhere. Cool. I think we can move on from that. All right, let's talk about some spy-esque stuff here. Amazon has said that James Bond will be male and British, so shutting down all that people are all worried about that. So that is a thing. Apparently, there was an internal memo about that.
Okay.
So no like official thing or anything, but and Christopher Nolan is their first choice to direct the next James Bond movie.
Of course it is.
I mean, but to be honest, I feel like every studio isn't Christopher Nolan probably their first choice to direct something.
True.
Other than maybe like James Cameron.
Yeah,
or
he has
something.
certainly his choice of whatever he wants to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they were talking about him years ago. I mean, but they didn't want to give him creative control, final cut on the movies and the choice of Bond and all that stuff. So perhaps the ship has sailed. I'm hoping the ship has sailed because I don't want a Christopher Nolan Bond movie. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I just thought that was interesting that they're like, yeah, he's going to be male and British. So no American female James Bond. And let's talk about something that you like. John Wick 5 officially in development. There was rumors, but it is in development.
Like Keanu Reeves, John Wick? I guess it's called John Wick. I mean,
it's called John Wick. John Wick 5. No, I don't have any other information other than it is in development, that they're working on it. Cool. Which is interesting because, I mean, the fourth one was pretty final. So I don't know what they're going to do with a fifth one.
I mean, they left it a little open-ended. Like, you didn't know for sure type of thing.
Yeah. Whatever.
It was definitely there to be brought back if needed. It wasn't.
Oh, yeah. They didn't, they didn't show like anything really explicitly,
Yeah.
So But yeah, I don't know. I don't really. I mean, it kind of doesn't give it a good, like, kind of ruins the ending of that last movie if it's just like surprise. But
I can think of a way that they
whatever.
can get themselves out of it. And I think they kind of already set that up, but
I mean, you can get yourself out of it, but I'm just saying it still ruins like the kind of the weight of the end of the movie. It's kind of just like whatever.
no, not really. I don't think
Okay, sure.
that those movies are really meant for the ending. You know what I mean? It's about the journey on that, and you're just there to see the good action and enjoy it. So,
I thought the last movie was much better and the story was good. So I would be annoyed if it was just undone because they want to make
it's
money.
not going to be
But then,
undone.
but then again, Lionsgate. I mean, what do they have? So I
Yeah.
mean, they need to make stuff that sells
Hmm.
because they're kind of bombing. Other than John Wick, I mean, I think Lionsgate were the ones that did Borderlands. So
Oof.
um, yeah, they've had quite a few bombs. So we'll see. Yep. That was all the news that I had.
Alrighty.
Uh, you ready to get into some trailers?
Sure am.
All right. Let's see. Let's do some of these quick ones here. Spinal Tap 2. So it's the sequel to This Is Spinal Tap, 40 years after the last one came out, which was a rock mockumentary um, about a fake metal band, a hard rock band called Spinal Tap.
Hmm.
Uh, it's a lot of, you know, uh, fame. It's like a pretty famous comedy, and that mockumentary style um, is what we got from that, which is a pretty famous, like, a documentary, and that's where we that was the first one that they've made, and kind of like kind that's like a precursor to like The Office and stuff like that.
Okay.
Uh, it's shot like it's real, um, but it's obviously scripted. So, um, I don't think you've seen it. I'm pretty sure you haven't seen
Literally
it.
not even heard of it. So.
And yeah, so but I'm sure you've heard the take it to 11 thing where they do the little dials and
Hmm.
it goes past 10, it goes to 11.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, that's pretty famous. They're just basically saying, "Hey, it's coming back." Um, the thing to 11, and this one it had like an infinity on it. It went past 11.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yep. I just thought that was interesting. Like kind of parody comedy movies really haven't done that well recently, but we're getting like another scary movie and a movie like this and stuff. It's kind of interesting that they would start doing kind of like parody movies again. Naked Gun is coming out this year um, with uh, Liam Neeson. So it's kind of interesting that they're kind of dipping back into that well and actually making these movies again.
Well, we'll see if they're any
Um,
good because there's a reason why they fell off, is because they got pretty drawn out, not good type of movies. So,
yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of good comedies recently, so I'm down for more comedy and different kinds of comedy. So I'm always down. But yeah, I can see why people might have apprehension about those movies. So yeah. Um, Here's another one, another trailer here. Life of Chuck. Now, this is a movie that has been on the old festivals and has been um reviewed pretty well. This is one that people are talking about, maybe Oscars and stuff. Um, Starring Tom Hiddleston. What did you think of the trailer?
It really didn't show much. I'm assuming this is a story that's already been told, or it's a book or something, or
Um, it is a book. I think it's a book. I can't remember if this is the one. If it's Stephen King, but I'm not sure if it's a book that he wrote or he like made it specifically.
okay. Well, it seemed like I was
For
kind of supposed to already know what I was looking at, but I had no idea. Um,
I think it's just a teaser, so
yeah, it
it
didn't
didn't
show
want to.
much. I like Tom Hiddleston, so I'm down to watch him in a more serious type of film. So
It's a 2020 novella by Stephen King. And they said it's from Stephen King, who did Shawshank and Green Mile and stuff. They didn't do the horror Stephen King because this is a drama, I
mhm.
believe. Um, and yeah, it has definitely has an all star cast. It looks like it's literally his life. Um, Mike Flanagan is directing and wrote the screenplay. Um, and he's mostly known for horror, which is interesting. And taking someone he's mostly known for horror writer, book writer, doing one of his dramas here, and then he's directing. Who's this guy? It's pretty much literally done all horror. The last movie he directed for theaters was Doctor Sleep, which was a sequel to The Shining, based on the Stephen King book. So, yeah, he does the stuff on Netflix, the Haunting of Hill House and stuff like that. If you've heard of those, on Netflix, but yeah, he's pretty much all horror. But yep, this will be that. Um, yeah, I thought Doctor Sleep was a really really good movie. Um, so I'm definitely interested in this, and has a lot of good actors in it. It looks like it's his whole life of um, Tom Hiddleston's character. You got young version, and I'm assuming old. It says there's a I'm assuming it's an old version, and it says Mark Hamill is going to be in it. So I'm going to assume that Mark Hamill is the old version. That would be my guess.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Um, Uh, Twigiatel Ejiofor, Tom Hiddleston, Karen Gillan, Matthew Lillard, Jacob Tremblay, Harvey Guillen, Mark Hamill, and Nick Offerman is the narrator. Um, so that's cool. Um, Looks like there's some, interesting parts to this, and I heard buzz about this movie months ago. So, um, but that comes out, I want to say it was like June or something. Uh, yeah, it's a neon movie that's the studio that just had a Best Picture winner there. Yeah, coming out in June. So that'll be some like little movie to see, other than a big blockbuster in the middle of the summer. I think it looks pretty good, and I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, we just got a teaser. We didn't get
Yeah.
very much of it. I'm sure
I
you'll.
need a more of it to decide if I'm willing to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, let's talk about uh, some TV shows here, and then we'll get back to the blockbusters here. Let's talk about The Last of Us. So it's the season 2 trailer. You're gonna have to tell me more what you think, because it looked like stuff to me.
Um,
There is things that I do recognize from the game. I know who the Abby is and stuff, and I know the characters that the two are playing, but I'm not like super familiar.
oh, Abby wasn't in the trailer all that much. I definitely think they're
Yeah.
changing it because essentially when the game starts, they kind of go to those events that happen. I won't say what happens to not spoil
Yeah.
anything, but it's like basically boom, it happens, then the rest of the story happens. This doesn't look like that event is happening in the same way, which I like.
Yeah, I think they're definitely changing it. I believe they're making more than one season from the second
game. I think you're right. Yeah, it looks. There are some things where I'm like, I don't even remember that. So they might be adding completely new things. So
I mean, they did in the first season, right? They added new stuff.
yeah,
right?
they added like
one episode's like completely new.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what they'll do
with Nick Offerman.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, they're definitely switching some things up. Hopefully, it's for the better because I mean, it was very controversial in the game. So, like, it still looks like they're going to do it. It might be like an end of season thing instead of boom right at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I highly doubt it'll be in the beginning. I think they're clearly going to change some things. Maybe they can change things straight up. Who knows? Maybe they'll just change how the game went and not do that. Who knows?
Maybe
they could. There's no reason why they can't. I mean, they have the people that made the game on board. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. I mean, it looks well produced. The zombie weird brain head things are kind of weird looking.
The clickers,
creepy looking. Is that what they're called?
They can't
because they make clicking.
They
noises.
can't see. They just hear you. That's supposed to be them listening. And if they hear you, then all of them chase after
you. Gotcha. I guess you got to be quiet.
Yes, that's very much the game. You're walking around trying not to make noise. And you're like throwing bricks in corners to like try to get past. Because you have very limited ammo to... You can't be taking on everything. You will die. That's the game.
Like the quiet place. You got to be quiet.
Kinda, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Except, I mean, those things in the quiet place, they're so fast.
Oh yeah, it's just like instant death with those
like
ones, right?
Instant death, yeah. So, all right. Well, let's get into our next thing here. F1. We got our first full length trailer here, official trailer, not a teaser, for F1 with Brad Pitt. So we got the story, which seemed like that was the story anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I assume the story is what she is old driver or whatever, and he's getting the chance or whatever. I think it looks pretty good. What do you think?
I mean, I'm not much of a race car movie kind of guy. I don't know. It looks boring to me. Maybe the driving will be cool, but to be honest, I don't even like watching actual like driving. So
I mean, it's not like they're not going to just be like filming them going around the
track.
Yeah,
I know there's going to be
do
more
like drones and stuff. Yeah, I think the racing will be pretty good. I'm just hoping that the story and stuff is good to keep you.
We'll see.
Engaged.
Yeah, I don't know. Brad Pitt's in it, so I at least have to give it a shot. But
yeah, I mean, you don't have to.
I mean, there's enough reason there for me to see the movie. I don't. If it wasn't Brad Pitt, I would have been like, pass.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping it does good. Because I got that in my draft, but also I thought could be good.
Yeah, I think it'll do well. I don't know how well. I guess that just depends on if the movie's actually good or not. This could easily be a snooze fest and nobody sees
it. Very possible. We'll see what happens. All right. Let's talk about Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, we finally got a trailer
finally got a trailer just a couple months before it comes out. Um, so what'd you think of this? Basically, shot for shot of the original.
Looks super low budget. Am I crazy or?
I mean, most of it's
I
CG,
mean, other
but
than
it's definitely
him,
not low.
right? Other than
Yeah, I
Stitch,
think.
but everything
Yeah,
else
when
is
they're
like,
with the people, when it's just the people, yeah. I mean, they got they got Hawaiian actors, I believe. So there's not like your leads are you're not. I think you haven't seen them before, so you're probably like, oh, well, it looks kind of it's not like A list or something. So
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like it. It just looks like it's shot like in her room, or they're like at a restaurant or something. It's very like low budgety looking.
I mean, the movie is that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true. Yeah,
um, the only part where that would be high budget is when they're in space and on the ship and
true.
stuff.
And we didn't
So
really see much of that. So
yeah, I mean, they wanted to show you the parts
yeah,
you remember, which is mostly them on Earth, right?
yeah.
So, um, I will say, I mean, Stitch looks fine. I mean, Stitch looks like Stitch. I will say when they showed the alien for a split second there, it looked pretty horrible.
Mm.
So, like, horrifying looking, like not like, oh, this is funny and cute. It's like kind of ugly and
Mm.
like, ew. So, uh, I don't know. We'll see. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, I've seen it before. It's called Lilo and Stitch. I just think for me, Lilo and Stitch, I liked the movie, but it's not one. It's not one I've
Yeah,
gone
it's
back
not like
to.
one of the mega hits that they've had. Yeah.
And for me, that came out in like what, like 2003, 2004. That's like prime time. I should love Lilo and Stitch. That's like when I was like 7 years old. Like that should be like my movie right there.
Yeah.
I should be really excited for this. I mean, and I think Lilo and Stitch is like probably boys should like it. He like rips stuff up and makes funny noises and picks his own nose by sticking his tongue in his nose. So I don't know, but I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I just never would really like loved Lilo and Stitch. So, and I don't remember anybody telling me, "Oh, my favorite Disney movie. I love Lilo and Stitch," or even like my top three Lilo Stitches there. So, I think it'll make money, but I'm still not convinced that it's like, I mean, it's a shot for shot, but it's not like The Lion King, where it's like a, you know, like a lot of people's like favorite movie. So,
Yeah.
did you like Lilo and Stitch?
Um, it was fine. I mean, the music's good, but it's just Elvis music.
It's Elvis. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very like wholesome type of movie. I don't know.
I mean, it's going to come out in the summer. It's a summer, definitely a summer movie. They're going to be in Hawaii. So, I mean, that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just, this trailer doesn't like get me more excited. It just looks like Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. I believe that was all the trailers for today. Yep. All right. That was all our news and trailers for the week. Um, moving on. Are you ready to get into our review for this week?
Yes.
All right. Our review this week will be for Mickey 17. So this movie is directed by Bong Joon Ho. His last movie was the Best Picture winner, Parasite, and he also won Best Director. So this is his follow up. So definitely an anticipated movie. Um, So this movie is like a sci-fi comedy, dark comedy movie.
Hmm.
Um, what'd you think?
I thought it was okay. I thought it had some interesting ideas, but it ultimately kind of just falls flat on itself, in my opinion. But I still appreciate like the try. Like it wasn't a bad movie. Um, but will this one be talked about for like years to come? Probably not.
Yeah, I would say this is definitely not a banger from him, from the director. Now that being said, I think there's a lot of good parts about the movie. I think the acting is very good in this movie. I mean, Robert Pattinson does a really really good job, and he's playing two people. And the thing is the actor playing two characters usually doesn't work.
Hmm.
Um, and with this, he
No, he did a good job.
definitely
Yeah, this would have been way worse if
he
he didn't pull it off.
yeah, you can tell who the two
Yeah.
are. Like he does a good job of characterizing them, and they're literally they look exactly the same. I
Hmm.
mean, he's a clone,
Yeah.
right? So, but he does such a good job with that. And it's funny, it actually takes a while to even get into having a second
Hmm.
one
This is a
of
long
him.
movie. How long
So
was this movie? Do you know off the top of your head?
it's a little over 2 hours,
Yeah,
like
and I'm
two.
pretty sure they
I
cut
mean,
a lot of stuff because there's some threads that get left open where it was like, why do they even
well,
have
they
this?
definitely pushed it back like a year. So they definitely cut it, did reshoots and things like that. I don't know if it was just for editing or whatnot. Now I think the movie. So yes, with the acting is really good. I think the it looks really good. Um, I saw it on a nice big screen. I think like it looks really good and it was really well made. It didn't like I felt like they were. I mean, it didn't look all CGI. I think they like I believed they were all on like mostly practical sets and everything.
Yeah.
Um, so that was I liked that. Um, Definitely, it looked like they had all the little bits, the little nuances and little buttons and things when they're in rooms, and it felt lived in, and the characters felt real.
Hmm.
So I liked that. And so he signs. So Mickey signs up to be an expendable on a space expedition to find a new planet. Um, and The expedition is led by Mark Ruffalo's character, something Marshall. I think his last name is Marshall. I can't remember what his first name was, but who is very thinly veiled politician, thinly veiled impersonation or uh, parody of a politician who's very famous in the United States. So,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, I mean, uh, so yeah, um, they use him for science experiments and stuff. Um, and they just copy him, clone him, and then take his memories and stuff every time he dies and stuff um, to see what happens and to make vaccines and things like that. Um, I will say I thought the movie was going to be darker than it was and more like brutal and gross and stuff. So yeah, I like that. It actually helped me because no one was getting like ripped apart or anything. Like when he died, most of the time they would just like cut away from it or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, I thought there was some funny parts. I will say that dark comedy doesn't usually work for me. Um, and this is more on like the Snowpiercer um, side than like a Parasite side, where I think Parasite is definitely more like witty and the message is not so in your face. Like Snowpiercer and Okja and stuff like that. It's pretty much like this is the message. Um, uh, with this one has like animal cruelty and you know like politicians and fascism and stuff like that, but it's all kind of just like flat out there for you. But then there's also messages of like smaller messages like interpersonal relationships and looking out for yourself and stuff like that. Um, but I thought the movie overall was good. Um, but yeah, it was pretty long. I mean, with credits, it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, but I think it's probably a little over 2 hours before the credits start rolling. So, but yeah, I felt the length a little bit, but I was still interested. Like it kept my attention. I think. Um, I um, what you said? You thought it was just too long?
The last act was really long. Like, oh, we're finally coming to the conclusion, and then it went on for like another 45 minutes. Um, Not just that, but yeah, I do think it was too long. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, what do you got? What's your overall rating, you
I'm
think?
probably at a 6. I don't know, maybe a 7 if I'm feeling generous, but 6 is where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm at a 7. I just think all the acting was pretty good and kept me engaged. Robert Pattinson, Mark Ruffalo, Tony Collette plays Mark Ruffalo's the politician's wife character. Stephen Yeun um, as a kind of surprisingly kind of a dickhead, which was kind of fun and different. Um, yeah, and then there's like a few other minor characters. There's a girl on the ship. Um, oh, sorry. What's her name? Naomi Aki. What was her character's name?
I don't know.
It's
That
like
was one of the character
I
things
can't.
where it was like, why was this even in the thing?
Nasha. Is it Nasha? That sounds right. Or
Oh, you're
yeah,
talking about,
Nasha.
I thought you were talking about the other lady. Um,
That
mhm.
I was thinking about her, and then I was like, wait, she's the girlfriend is definitely in it more. What's her? I think her name was Nasha. She did a good job. And there's a particular scene with her, which just was interesting. I was like, I thought I was watching Challengers for a second, and
Mhm.
then yeah, but I think that is kind of what someone might do
I
in that
guess I just felt
situation.
like that scene in particular added nothing to the movie other than what it was. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it. I mean, I guess it moved the plot along a little bit with that other
Yeah,
girl.
but that's my point with the other girl is like, why was she even in the movie? It's like not even. She
Yeah,
had no purpose other than for this scene.
yeah. Like I said, I think well they're showing they're showing both sides of people because she's like feels bad and then she wants to be liked by the uh, the politician guy.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I think everyone did a good job. Like all the actors, even the smaller
I
actors, like
agree.
even
Yeah.
like the doctor scientist lady. I thought she did a good job too. So um, I thought it was pretty fun movie. Um, I like that it's like I know it's based on this movie is based on a book, but I still think it still feels like original, you know.
Mm,
And we're not getting a lot of
no,
kind of
we're not.
things with a point of view.
Yeah.
So this was refreshing in that way. But yeah, I think I'm at like a 7. I thought maybe like a yeah, I think I'm at a 7, maybe a 6.5. But it was a movie that, to be honest, going into it, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, because, like I said, his stuff before Parasite isn't really my cup of tea. Um, so, um, yeah. Uh, you want to get into spoilers?
If you want, sure.
Um, so yeah, so Mark Ruffalo is basically playing Trump. Uh, even has like a goofy hairstyle and his kind of mannerisms he's doing and stuff. Um, yeah, there was so the one thing at the very end of this movie, there's a whole like dream sequence
Yeah,
um, that
completely unnecessary and
I
added nothing to the movie. Yes.
yeah, it was weird. I wasn't. I
I
didn't
have no idea.
understand why they did that.
I'm telling you, they must have
Uh,
cut things out of this movie and they didn't. Like, there has to be
you
something
think?
else. There had to have been something previously to make that
Well,
make sense.
he's narrating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mickey, the whole movie. The
Mm-hmm.
character is narrating, and they could have very easily added some lines in there to say, "I always dreamt," or "I was a dreamer," or whatever, because that part could have been in the movie somewhere else, and then they just like added that on. So I think that's a possibility that they just added that and worked around it, maybe. And they liked the scene, so they just did that. I don't know.
I guess. To me, it just was like, what's going on?
Yeah. Um. So I like the only other thing is I like the little bug.
The leader.
I don't leader. I don't. What are those like roly poly bug things? Kind of They're like huge things. I don't know. I thought those were kind of interesting. I actually thought that part was interesting for some reason. And I like their little like communicating and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and that they. I mean, it was clear that they saved him. It was like for some reason, it was like this big revelation in the story, and I was like,
Oh, yeah,
it was pretty.
he's a dummy. That's like the point of the show. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, kind of like that they had like the little one and stuff and all that stuff. Yeah, I this was kind of Fallout-y to me. That's what the feeling I got. Or what's the one that's like Fallout but it's in outer
Outer
space?
Worlds.
Outer
Yeah.
Worlds. Yeah. I think that's what I think Bong Joon-ho played those games or liked Fallout or something, and he's like, I'll make. I read this book. I think I'll make a movie of this
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I got from it, and it did remind me of that Outer Worlds that video game show that we watched.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah, I said that when the
maybe
trailers came out. I was like, this is kind of the same thing.
maybe the guy who wrote that for the TV show read Mickey 7 is what the book is called. So maybe he read that. Maybe he got the idea from that. Yeah. So maybe I liked it more because I liked that short. Who knows? Um, yeah. I mean, there's not like a ton of spoilers or anything, but yeah, there was just like a couple parts that was like kind of weird to me,
Mm-hmm.
that I thought we could touch on. So, yeah, I mean, I think everybody did a good job. I thought the movie was pretty good, and yeah, Robert Pattinson did a really good job of separating the two versions of Mickey that
he did do a good
we
job.
can
Yeah.
enjoy. Robert Pattinson is doing pretty good for me. I don't think I've seen him in anything recently that I haven't liked. That I haven't liked him in it. He was good in The Lighthouse. I like him in The Batman, and I liked this movie. I didn't see Tenet, so.
Oh, then how can you say that for sure if you hadn't seen Tenet?
Well, I told you what I said. I liked him in the things that I saw. I didn't say he's spectacular in everything that he's in ever.
Okay.
So yeah. Would you see another movie by this director? This make you want to see another whatever he makes next?
Sure. I wouldn't say I'm like excited for it. This doesn't. I will forget about this movie 100%. Right.
Yeah. Would you? Okay, so you're what did you say? 6?
Yeah,
You're at a
6 for me. Yeah.
Okay. Would you say see it, stream it, or skip it?
I'd probably skip it. Yeah, I'd probably skip it. I'm assuming you're going to say see it in theaters.
I think it was pretty. I think it was made for the theater. It was like well made. I think you'll just not. I don't know. I think it would be more fun to. Well, first of all, my audience that I saw it with was light. I don't know about yours.
There's a few other people in there.
But people were actually reacting to it. So I think if I saw this in the theater with like a good group of people and people were like actually reacting to it, I think this probably would have been more fun. But yeah, my audience was pretty light. I will say next week I've already watched the movie. I saw like when it was a hidden movie or whatever, but I liked seeing that with a nice big audience and getting a good reaction. I think it definitely helps with the movie experience. So I would say to you, you should probably, our next week's movie, you should probably check that out. Hopefully find a good size theater,
Sure,
with a crowd there.
I don't need other people to elevate my movie experience. It should be able to hold on its own.
Well, first of all, I think you're going to like the movie. So besides the fact, I think it would help even make it even better if you get a good audience in there. Anyway, yeah, I think it helps with seeing movies. So yeah. So I'd say check it out. If not, if you don't need to go to the theater, you're not like a big, I still think it's worth the time to check it out. So I guess I'd probably say stream it, but if you're so inclined, see it in the theater.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up our review.
Yep. I think that's everything for this week, I think.
All right. We'll see you guys on the next one. Until then.
This has been the Daniel and Andrew Show.